In a secluded hospital in the heart of Japan, there was a nurse named Akiko. She was known for her beauty and charm, but underneath her sweet demeanor lay a dark secret. Akiko possessed an insatiable desire to seduce and kill unsuspecting victims. No one knew of her sinister intentions, for she hid them well beneath her innocent facade. Every night, as the moon cast an eerie glow on the hospital grounds, Akiko would embark on her wicked mission. She would carefully select her prey, choosing those who seemed weak and vulnerable, their hearts ripe for the taking. No one was safe in her twisted game. One fateful night, Akiko spotted her next target, a young patient named Hiroshi. He lay in his bed, frail and pale, his family nowhere to be found. Akiko saw an opportunity, a chance to satisfy her deadly desires. Creeping into Hiroshi's room, Akiko disguised her intentions with a gentle smile. She checked his vitals, assuring him that everything was under control. Hiroshi, oblivious to the danger that lurked beside him, weakly smiled back. Akiko's charm was irresistible, her presence calming in the face of Hiroshi's illness. Day by day, she would tend to his needs, filling his heart with false hope. But behind her seductive gaze, the nurse plotted his demise. As Hiroshi's health improved, Akiko's impatience grew. She knew that she needed to act swiftly before anyone caught onto her deadly game. The hospital became her playground, and its patients, mere pawns in her wicked scheme.
One evening, as the hospital bustled with activity, Akiko slipped into Hiroshi's room. The seductive nurse knew the time had come to claim her victim. She closed the curtains, plunging the room into darkness. As Hiroshi lay unsuspecting, Akiko approached his bed with a predatory grace, her fingers tracing the contours of his face. She leaned over him, her lips brushing against his ear. "Don't be afraid, my love," she whispered, her voice dripping with sinister desire. The scent of death filled the air as Akiko raised a gleaming syringe in her hand. Hiroshi's eyes widened in terror as he realized his impending doom. But it was too late, for Akiko was a master of deception and seduction. With a swift motion, the nurse plunged the needle into Hiroshi's arm, injecting him with a lethal dose. As the poison coursed through his veins, his life ebbed away, his body becoming cold and still. Akiko savored her victory, relishing in the power she possessed over life and death. Hiroshi was just another name on her long list of victims, a mere pawn in her twisted game of seduction and murder. Soon, rumors began to circulate throughout the hospital. Whispers of unexplained deaths and missing patients filled the hallways. The staff grew uneasy, sensing that something sinister lurked within their midst. Akiko reveled in the chaos she had created. She watched with sadistic pleasure as fear consumed her colleagues, their once trustworthy faces now filled with suspicion. But she knew that her reign of terror had only just begun. With each passing night, Akiko sought new victims, her insatiable appetite for carnage growing stronger. No one was safe from her deadly seduction, not even those who thought they were immune to her charms. The hospital became a haven of fear, patients and staff alike trembling at the mere mention of Akiko's name. Whispers of her twisted exploits echoed through the halls, each one more horrific than the last. One night, as Akiko prowled the deserted corridors, she encountered a fellow nurse named Satomi. Satomi had always been suspicious of Akiko's intentions, but her fears had been dismissed as paranoia. Now, however, faced with the horrifying truth, Satomi had no choice but to confront her colleague. "Akiko, I know what you've been doing," Satomi exclaimed, her voice shaking with a mixture of fear and anger. "You can't hide your sins any longer. It's time to pay for your crimes." Akiko, ever composed, turned to face Satomi with a chilling smile. "Oh, my dear Satomi," she purred, her eyes gleaming with madness. "You've always been so judgmental, but soon you'll realize just how much we nurses have in common." Satomi's heart raced as Akiko approached, her every step filled with purpose. She knew that confronting the twisted seductress would be dangerous, but she couldn't stand idly by while her colleagues suffered. Suddenly, out of the shadows emerged a group of hospital guards, drawn to the commotion. Satomi, seizing her opportunity, ran towards them, desperately pleading for their help. The guards, startled by the chaos unfolding before them, hesitated for a moment. But Satomi's fear and urgency were convincing, and they swiftly surrounded Akiko, ready to apprehend the nurse-turned-murderer. But Akiko was no ordinary adversary. With a wicked smile, she unleashed her seductive powers upon the guards, sowing doubt and confusion in their minds. One by one, they fell under her spell, their wills bending to her wicked desires. Satomi watched in horror as her colleagues succumbed to Akiko's charms, becoming pawns in her deadly game once more. She knew that she had to find a way to stop the seductress before it was too late. With determined resolve, Satomi raced to the hospital's security room. There, she accessed the surveillance footage, hoping to find a weakness in Akiko's web of deceit. Hours passed as Satomi diligently studied the recordings, her eyes growing weary but her determination unwavering. And finally, she uncovered a clue, a hidden secret that revealed Akiko's true nature. Satomi discovered that Akiko's powers of seduction stemmed from an ancient artifact, a cursed amulet passed down through generations of nurses. It granted her an otherworldly allure, twisting the desires of those who fell under her spell. Armed with this newfound knowledge, Satomi devised a plan to rid the hospital of Akiko's wicked influence once and for all. She knew that she had to locate the cursed amulet and destroy it, severing the nurse's hold on her victims. Satomi ventured into Akiko's lair, a secret room hidden deep within the hospital's basement. The air was heavy with the stench of death, as if the walls themselves were tainted by the nurse's sinister deeds. As Satomi explored the darkened room, her heart raced with a mixture of fear and determination. She knew that time was running out, that her colleagues' lives hung in the balance. Finally, Satomi's diligent search bore fruit as she discovered the amulet, its eerie glow illuminating her face. With trembling hands, she reached out and plucked it from its resting place, feeling its dark energy surge through her veins. Just as Satomi was about to destroy the cursed artifact, the door to Akiko's lair swung open, revealing the seductress herself. Akiko's eyes blazed with fury as she realized her secret had been uncovered. "You foolish girl," Akiko hissed, her voice dripping with venom. "Did you really think you could outsmart me? I am the mistress of seduction, and your feeble attempts to stop me are in vain." Satomi stood her ground, clutching the amulet tightly in her hand. She knew that she had to face Akiko head-on, for the lives of her colleagues and the innocent patients depended on her success. The room, once a place of darkness and secrecy, now became an arena for an epic battle. Satomi faced off against Akiko, their eyes locked in a battle of wills, their every movement calculated and precise. Akiko, fueled by her lust for power, lunged at Satomi with unmatched ferocity. But Satomi, armed with the amulet's dark energy, countered each attack with unyielding determination. Blow after blow, the two nurses fought, their struggle echoing through the room. The amulet's energy swirled around them, its power growing with each passing second. As the battle raged on, Satomi realized that she couldn't defeat Akiko through physical force alone. She needed to exploit the seductress's own weaknesses, her narcissistic desire for admiration. Satomi, despite her fear, began to shower Akiko with compliments, feigning admiration for the twisted nurse's skills and charms. And in that moment of vulnerability, Satomi struck, aiming for Akiko's most susceptible spot. "Your beauty is unparalleled, Akiko," Satomi whispered, her voice dripping with false adoration. "But even the most beautiful roses have thorns, don't they?" Akiko froze for a split second, her arrogant smile wavering. It was in that moment of hesitation that Satomi struck, delivering a powerful blow that sent Akiko reeling. The amulet's dark energy amplified Satomi's attack, causing Akiko to crumple to the floor, her strength draining away. Satomi, seizing the opportunity, pressed the amulet against Akiko's skin, unleashing its full power. The nurse's body convulsed as the curse was lifted, her seductive aura dissipating into thin air. Akiko's dark desires, once a driving force, were now nothing more than a memory. Word of Akiko's defeat spread throughout the hospital, filling the staff and patients with an overwhelming sense of relief. The veil of fear that had once shrouded the hospital began to lift, replaced by a newfound sense of hope. Satomi, hailed as a hero, was praised for her bravery and determination. She had single-handedly put an end to Akiko's reign of terror, freeing the hospital from her deadly seduction. As the hospital slowly returned to normal, the staff worked tirelessly to rebuild their lives and regain the trust that had been shattered. Patients too began to heal, their wounds, both physical and emotional, slowly mending. Satomi, forever changed by her encounter with Akiko, found solace in knowing that justice had been served. But deep down, she couldn't shake the lingering feeling that evil still lurked within the shadows. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. Life at the hospital began to settle into a routine, the horrors of the past fading into distant memories. One evening, as Satomi finished her shift and prepared to leave, she noticed a new nurse had been assigned to the night shift. There was something familiar about her, something that sent a shiver down Satomi's spine. As Satomi approached the nurse, a sinking feeling settled in her gut. The new hire introduced herself as Yumi, her voice filled with an innocence that seemed all too rehearsed. Satomi's suspicions grew with each passing moment, her mind filled with memories of the seductress who had haunted their lives. She vowed to keep a close eye on Yumi, determined to prevent history from repeating itself. Months passed, with Yumi seamlessly integrating into the hospital's staff. She was charming, dedicated, and held the trust of both patients and colleagues. But Satomi knew better than to be fooled by appearances. One night, as Satomi was on her rounds, she stumbled upon Yumi in a dimly lit corridor, her eyes gleaming with an unsettling intensity. Satomi knew that her suspicions were confirmed. Yumi possessed the same deadly desires as Akiko. "I know who you are," Satomi said, her voice steady despite the fear that gripped her. "You won't get away with this. I'll expose you for the monster you truly are." Yumi's smile twisted into a malicious grin, her true intentions no longer hidden beneath her facade. "You're a fool to think you can stop me, Satomi. Akiko may have failed, but I am far more cunning." Satomi's heart raced as Yumi advanced, her every step filled with deadly intent. She knew that she had to act quickly, for the lives of her colleagues and the innocent patients depended on her success once more. Drawing strength from the memory of her previous triumph, Satomi attempted to fight back. Blow after blow, the two nurses engaged in a brutal struggle, their determination unmatched. Satomi, fueled by her previous victory, mustered every ounce of strength she possessed. Despite Yumi's relentless attacks, she refused to let fear consume her. She knew that she had to prevail, for the sake of all who were in danger. With a burst of energy, Satomi delivered a powerful blow that sent Yumi sprawling to the floor. The hospital staff, alerted by the commotion, rushed to Satomi's aid, their faces filled with a mix of fear and determination. Yumi, wounded but far from defeated, laughed maniacally as she rose to her feet. "You cannot kill me, Satomi," she sneered, her voice dripping with venom. "This is only the beginning." Satomi, undeterred by Yumi's threats, pressed on. She knew that she had to find a way to stop the seductress once and for all, to ensure that no one else would fall victim to her deadly desires. Satomi desperately searched her mind for a solution, her thoughts racing as she tried to outwit her adversary. And then, a glimmer of hope emerged, an ancient mystic relic that had the power to banish evil. With a renewed sense of purpose, Satomi located the relic, a sacred dagger blessed by the ancient guardians. She knew that its power had the potential to defeat Yumi and put an end to her reign of terror. Armed with the sacred dagger, Satomi approached Yumi once more. She could see the fear in the seductress's eyes, the realization that her reign of terror was about to come to an end. Yumi lunged at Satomi with a fierce determination, fueled by desperation. But Satomi, armed with the ancient relic, moved with a grace and accuracy that Yumi couldn't match. Blow after blow, Satomi fought against Yumi, each strike bringing them closer to victory or defeat. The dagger glowed with a radiant energy, the ancient power surging through Satomi's veins. With one final, powerful thrust, Satomi plunged the sacred dagger into Yumi's heart. The seductress's eyes widened in shock as her essence dissipated, her deadly desires disappearing into the ether. Silence filled the corridor as Yumi's lifeless body crumpled to the floor. Satomi stood over her, the weight of her victory heavy on her shoulders. The hospital had been saved, but at what cost? Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months once more. The hospital had finally found peace, free from the horrors of Akiko and Yumi's deadly reign. The staff and patients, though scarred by their experiences, began to heal. Satomi, hailed as a hero once again, wore that title with a heavy heart. She knew that she had done what was necessary to protect the lives of those around her, but the toll it had taken haunted her. Night after night, Satomi would lie awake, haunted by the memories of the battles she had fought. The faces of Akiko and Yumi would flicker in her mind's eye, a constant reminder of the darkness she had encountered. Slowly, with the support of her colleagues and the healing power of time, Satomi began to recover. She found solace in knowing that her sacrifices had saved countless lives, but the scars would forever serve as a reminder of the horrors she had faced. As the years passed, rumors of the seductive nurse's reign of terror faded into legend. The hospital was rebuilt, its walls no longer tainted by the memory of their crimes. Satomi, having found peace within herself, continued her work as a nurse, using her experiences to provide comfort and solace to those in need. She became a symbol of resilience and strength, a beacon of hope in a world that had once been filled with darkness. The hospital thrived under Satomi's leadership, its reputation restored. Patients and staff alike found solace within its walls, safe in the knowledge that they were protected from the horrors of the past. And so, life continued in the hospital, forever changed by the nightmarish encounters with Akiko and Yumi. But as the staff went about their daily routines, a subtle reminder lingered: evil could lurk in the most unexpected places. The legacy of Akiko and Yumi would forever be etched in the hospital's history. Their crimes, though horrific, served as a reminder to be vigilant, to never underestimate the darkness that could reside within even the seemingly innocent. Satomi's unwavering determination had saved countless lives, but the scars of her battles would forever remain. She had walked through the fires of hell and emerged stronger, leaving behind a lasting legacy of courage and resilience.
As Satomi looked out over the hospital, a sense of peace washed over her. She knew that she had done what was necessary to protect those she cared for, to vanquish the darkness that threatened their lives. And as the sun set on another day, Satomi vowed to never forget the horrors she had faced. She would carry the weight of her triumphs and sacrifices with grace, forever vigilant to the danger that may lurk just beyond the hospital's doors. The Japanese nurse seduction of death had come to an end. But the echoes of that dark chapter would forever shape the lives of those who had experienced its horrors. And as the hospital stood proudly, restored and renewed, the whispers of those who had fallen victim to its insidious charms would forever echo through its halls.